When you see yourself, you gotta be yourself. It's a blistery cold Monday morning in Brooklyn, New York, but we will be kept warm by the embers of some betting tickets that are just gonna be on fire. My name is Joel Walkowski. I'm the professional gambler. I'm a New York City street ball legend, and I'm coming to you on the Props Network. Why? Because I bet on basketball. I bet on basketball every day of my life. And, some people know me to talk about that in an entertaining manner. So we're around 60% for the season. We are 14 and 11 as of today. And so far this season, I have actually bet every game I've predicted, put out on these chats, videos, basketball influenced gambling talk shows, whatever you want to call them. But today, that won't be the case. I do happen to have my money tied up in a certain college football game with a certain money line parlay with a certain program whose most intelligent player in history was Forrest Gump. I'll be supporting the Crimson Tide this evening. Maybe you should do the same, but I will give the caveat that I am a student at the University of Michigan. I know I'm old, right? It's creepy. It's weird. Um, so maybe I'm not the most fair and balanced evaluator of the Ohio State football team. It happens. But I'm a basketball guy. And first off, I think we're going to take a trip slightly below the Mason-Dixon, where the New York Knicks, who we've been supporting after getting trash talked in the chat for not liking the Knicks enough, who we've been walking around New York City. We've been hearing everyone talk, oh, these Knicks are great. Julius Randle's first team All NBA. And now the Knicks are coming to town. And the Knicks, they lost kind of badly to Oklahoma City after a big win versus the Utah Jazz. So we see here that the line it opened at 4.5 for the Charlotte Hornets, and it's around 4.5 as well. Not a bad value there. And I had it at 5 personally. I would advise to, if you have a place where it's 5, buy it to 4.5. And I like this because I don't think we're going to see RJ Barrett tonight. No, I don't think he's a little banged up. And given that case, given the fact that the Hornets backcourt is one of the most underrated backcourts to wager against in the NBA, because the casual NBA gambler, they don't really evaluate guys like Devontae Graham, who are close to all-star level players. Terry Rozier, a point guard who will actually produce everything you need a point guard to produce. So these guys aren't really being given their full statistical weight in these gambling scenarios. And on the other side of that coin, I think we're going to be seeing a starting backcourt of Alfred Payton and Reggie Bullock versus Devontae Graham and Terry Rozier. We're going to see RJ Barrett. He will be in the lineup. They're going to be going small, but just look at those three. Look at how that lineup stacks up. We have Peyton, Bullock, Barrett versus Graham, Rozier, Hayward. I really think that this is a young man's league, and I actually think there's a pretty big backcourt advantage for the Hornets here in this one, especially if we're going to take the benches into consideration. So, given that there's equal rest, given that it's home, this feels like about a 7-point Hornets victory to me. So, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to lock it down there. And just running the stats on this, I did have it as, in terms of a Charlotte blowout where you can just relax the entire evening. I think there's actually almost a 30% chance of that happening. So if that happens, pretty good. Overall win percentage, I have Charlotte around 70%. And I think there's about, 3 out of 10 times they're going to run out of this game and really blow the Knicks out of the water. I think 4.5 is good there. And good. Richard already has the Hornets and all these bets and parlays. And I don't know about you, but sometimes you lose on a team enough, you start to respect them. And maybe we're a little bit too soon to crown the Hawks and their awful chemistry and their head coach with not a real impressive track record of NBA experience a little bit too quickly. I was thinking about talking myself into the Hawks in the COVID game versus the 76ers, who barely have enough to field a team this tonight. But last time the Hawks faced the Sixers, Embiid got a career high. So that's a big stay away from me. But yeah, Hornets were my favorite pick on the docket today. And that's a 7:00 start time. Now, I think we're going to go. That's my only one early. Like I mentioned, a lot of my attention will be on the college football championship. Bama money line, Bama points, Chris Olave yards, Trey Sermon yards, and Alabama team points are my favorite picks there. And as far as NBA goes, I think it'd be a good time to let's talk about the Raptors, Richard. Let's talk about them going to Portland against the Trailblazers this evening at 10:00 tip. Now, the Blazers, they've been on the bad side of some matchups to some really hot teams. I know Steph had some great matchups against him. We saw the best version of the Chicago Bulls team. And on the other side of the coin, we are seeing a Raptors team that's really just struggling to accomplish anything. Siakam has not been the same player since the bubble started. Kyle Lowry is now in trade rumors, which, wow, it would be crazy to see. He was in trade rumors like his whole NBA career, and now he's like the poster child of this franchise. It's amazing to see how far he's come. But in this one, we see this opened as 4, and now you're seeing it up to about 5-point games. I also like Fred VanVleet in it, but as a Pistons diehard, I'm glad we didn't max him out this offseason. Also, his baby, getting born in the bubble, those visits were great. VanVleet over 20.5 points. I'm with that here. I do think according to, I'm using the same statistics as, Stats Insider. I bought an algorithm for them, and this does have the same about 35% chance of an easy Blazers victory. I like it there. And I will say that the Blazers, they are 4-0 against the spread in their last 4 games versus a team with the losing record. And furthermore, the Raptors are 1-4 in their last road games. So, I mean, I'm a little bit of a mixed bag on the Blazers right now. They haven't been where I thought they would, but I thought there was value in the spread. I thought they're a better team than Toronto at this point of the season. The stats that I looked at backed it up. And given that the track record of this team is trending in this way, I mean, this is probably 7 out of 10 for me. I'm down with that. And I mean, yeah, you're saying that you like the Fred VanVleet over 20.5. And I think so because the Blazers, it is kind of an endearing thing about them. They let any other small scoring guard, of which they have like one of the best ones ever, Dame Lillard, those other small scoring guards, it seems like they invite him to play their style of basketball a little bit. They'll give up some open looks for 3. So if Fred's got it going on, I can anticipate him hitting 20 point over 21 or more on the game. I'm with you there, Richard. And my last one, I actually reversed course on this one because like NBA, let's talk about the Kings and the Pacers at 10:00. I see that the Pacers are a 5.5-point favorite. And, how does the NBA season work, right? So these teams, they have a lot of back-to-backs. They have a lot of like 3 games in 4 nights. But you have these kind of like real spurts put out there. And there are like firm resets of them, okay? So I look at Kings. They had some pretty bad losses in their last homestand. They were the team that single-handedly reignited the Warriors. They got blown out on their home court. And I was really looking forward to supporting them. But I did see that Buddy Hield and Rashawn Holmes are battling injuries. And I mean, I know they're not the stars of the Kings team. I know it's all De'Aaron Fox, and now there's been a lot of Halliburton talk. But those guys are a great deal of their production. Holmes, in particular, is actually pretty vital against this Indiana team with their talented bigs. We've got all NBA level Sabonis. So if there are injury questions there, I'm going to actually reverse my call here, and I'm going to go for the Pacers -5.5. I know I'm a little bit square here going favorites in the season, but Indiana is a better team. And if 2 of their 8 important players have injury questions, I'm inclined to go with the team I know that's better. Indiana against a team with, talented but knuckleheaded big men. I expect this to be a game where the better rotation. Okay, you want to talk Bucks game? Okay, so it's BucksMagic, and I left this one out. My worst gambling loss of my life was BucksMagic game 1 of the 2020 bubble playoffs. I took the Bucks money line that night. I chased with the Lakers that night, and I lost a hold for a television commercial that night. It was a $40,000 swing here. So the Bucks are playing the Magic. It's a 9.5-point game. I'm just going to pull up the injury report. So I'm giving you my best take on it, if you don't mind, my friend. So Giannis has been very good the last few nights. I took Giannis a few nights ago against the Utah Jazz. I was incorrect, and then Giannis had out. They beat the Cavs without Giannis, and now we're seeing the Magic actually struggle without Markelle Fultz. And in this game, and in this Bucks team in particular, sorry, Richard, you are correct on that one. But in this Bucks team, it seems like they really showed up and tried to make a statement when they played Miami last year with the bubble in mind. And I think that Orlando, with that corollary, seeing how they're struggling without the athleticism and that dimension that Fultz brings into the game. And you're also going to see Cole Anthony used as a primary ball handler matched up against Drew Holiday. So I actually think the ingredients are there for a Bucks blowout. Probably 15 points or more in my book, given that, basketball, it can be an emotional game when your team has one coming back to them, and a team like the Bucks, who they like to blow you out. They don't like to be in close games. I think they'll maybe get out and play the style of basketball that maybe only 4 or 5 teams are equipped to either diffuse or keep up with. And against a short-handed Orlando team that, I don't know, they're really going to be searching for an identity, because Orlando seems a little bit cursed to me, because every time a guy is tough, is part of that rotation. Isaac, now Fultz, it seems like they suffer a pretty bad injury. So what's our evaluation of this team? And I'm with you that the 10 points is really tough, but I think if you're trying to incorporate a new primary ball handler against one of the best perimeter defenders in the NBA, then I will give the nudge to it. And also, I'm also going to weigh the factors that the Bucks are going to get better as the season goes on by virtue of them incorporating so many new rotation pieces, and just the revenge factor I saw against Miami. This was one I thought about on my own, but being asked for this analysis, I am going to take the Bucks in a large spread here, simply because it's hard to like incorporating a new primary ball handler changes every dynamic you're going to encounter as an offensive basketball team. They don't have the shot creators outside of the low post, which they do have one of the great back to the basket guys in the NBA right now. So, yeah, Bucks there. And I think the NBA, they did us a favor here. They don't have any of their great matchups on tonight, so we'll be able. This will be a Bama on the monitor. I'll have some basketball on the screen, and then it is Monday, so my lady will be watching Bachelor on the big television. It's okay if you're not watching Bachelor. Get on with it. It's a better sport than baseball is at this point in time, so we might as well embrace it. So, in conclusion, today I'm liking the Pacers to cover against the Kings. I changed my mind given the research. I like the Blazers and all of the gambling trends in response to them at home against the Toronto Raptors. The spread is about 5, and then we have, what was my last one? Oh, we have like the Hornets over the Knicks. Richard, you're putting out a parlay to me, and you said that it's Bama to win by 7-12. You know what? Hornets, Bucks, Van Vliet. You're probably good with that, right? Boise versus 20, but Alabama to win by 7-12. You don't really want to be betting against this Alabama offense. If they're up 7 with the ball, and more power to you. I hope it hits. I'll light a little sage. I will put out my good intentions for your wager, because I also have my intentions on, the Alabama Crimson Tide tonight. I don't know if you've watched our college football throughout the season, but I went to USC in Michigan, but I didn't become a college football fan until my OCD little buddy from Alabama got me watching the Tide. And as a long-suffering Lions guy, I'm glad I have one team that I kind of like that isn't the Detroit Lions. But yeah, 7-12 with Waddle, Freeman. Alabama's going to have some fun tonight, I think. But it seems like you really like the show. I'm going to be back every day at 2:00 this week. I'm going to do Wednesday, Tuesday, Thursday. I had the days out of order, but I will be there. And then Friday, I will be I'll probably do a social video. I'll talk to my bosses, but I will cover. And, it's just like, do I think Alabama will score more? Maybe, but I don't want to. I'm looking forward. This is a game where I want to preserve it. Like, I tied Alabama to the first game of the wild card round with the Packers. So I think that's value. And then maybe this week I'm going to bet a little bit less than I normally would. And of course, we do have the NFL props drop. It seems like you would really love it. Me and Steve Clark, formerly of Sports Illustrated, we go through the NFL games, and we pick out a favorite line from each team. I was all over the Colts tight ends on Friday, so it felt good. We normally do Friday, but I did talk to Steve about putting that out on Thursday evening this week. So look for that on Thursday evening. And I see that you're subscribed. And if you're not subscribed like Richard, smash that subscribe button here on the Props Network. We do have custom gambling content that's arranged to be as informative and entertaining as it can be. And we put that out every single day to you guys. So smash that subscribe. Go to propsnetwork.com. I do not do UFC. I have qualified people like Diego Lopez and Connor Larson, Donnie Sengstack. So we do have a full fleet of people at the Prop Network who cover all sorts of things. I'm NBA, NFL, a little NCAA football, and maybe even a little soccer here and there. I'm been doing all right with the Premier League lately, and as someone who works from home, I know that'll get you through the workday. And speaking of getting you through the workday, I hope I did that for you. And so For the Props Network, this is Joel Walkowski walking off.